Om Shri Dhanvantaraya Namaha. Om Shri Guru Basavalingaya Namaha. A very good morning to one and all. I cordially welcome today's guest speaker, Dr. SAKHITHA K.S. Madam, Lecturer, Department of Rasashastra and Bhaishajya Kalpana, National Institute of Ayurveda, Jaipur, for the today's webinar presentation. On behalf of our department, our principal sir, Dr. K.C. Das, and also from institute management members to the Amruta Bhaishajya 2020, a national level webinar organized by SVMAMC ILKAL. I also welcome all other honorable speakers of this webinar series and all the faculty members, PG scholars, UG students, and students of various colleges and also the students of our college. Now I request Dr. Sridevi to give brief introduction regarding the today's speaker. Thank you, madam.
Good morning to all. I am very glad to introduce our today's guest speaker, Dr. SAKHITHA K.S. Madam. Madam has completed her UG at Vaidyaratna Ayurved College, University of Calicut. Madam has completed her PG in the Department of Rasashastra and Bhaishajya Kalpana in National Institute of Ayurveda, Jaipur. Madam is pursuing her PhD at National Institute of Ayurveda, Jaipur. Madam is presently working as a lecturer in the Department of Rasashastra and Bhaishajya Kalpana at NIA, Jaipur. She is working as a research officer in Captain Srinivas Murthy Regional Ayurveda Drug Development Institute, CCRAS unit at Chennai. Madam has completed certificate course in Health Research Fundamental offered by NIE, ICMR. Madam has completed distance course of Professional Diploma in Clinical Research from Catalyst Clinical Services. Madam has attended many workshops and conferences and presented 7 papers and published 10 articles. Madam's area of interest is research and development, safety and toxicity studies, quality control and standardization of Ayurvedic drugs. With this, I conclude the brief introduction of today's guest speaker, Dr. SAKHITHA K.S. Madam, and I request her to continue with her presentation. Thank you, Madam. Thank you, one and all.
Madam, over to you. हेलो मैडम, ऑडियो ऑन कीजिए। हेलो मैडम, हेलो।
Audible?
हाँ मैडम, ऑडिबल and
Then shall we
visible.
start?
Both are available, madam. You can continue.
Okay, then can I start my presentation, ma'am?
Okay, madam.
Okay. A warm greetings to all of you. Myself, Dr. Sakhitha KS, lecturer, Department of RASASH and Physicochemical, NIA Jaipur, is going to present a topic, safety aspect of RASOUSHADHIES. So, before I begin, I would like to thank the organizing committee of Amrita Vaishajya, SVMAMC ILKAL, for giving me an opportunity to present before you. So let me start the presentation. So when we speak of Rasashastra as a whole and RASOUSHADHIES in particular, the most overused word is safety. Or rather we should say that we have hyped up the word safety in connection to Rasashastra and Rasa medicines. So safety can be defined as a condition of a steady state of an organization or a place, object, instrument, or a drug doing what it is supposed to do. So when a drug is doing what it is supposed to do, then we can say that that particular drug is safe. So what it is supposed to do, it is a relative term, or depending upon the context and the situation, it changes. For example, in case of a building, if we say a building is safe, then it means that the building is strong and it can accommodate or it can protect its inhabitants. So for any organization, large or small, safety is a normative concept. So when a drug is doing what it is mentioned to do, that is targeting the specified areas, that is alleviating the diseases and not endangering the human life. So that drug is considered as a safe drug. And that is what RASOUSHADHIES are also supposed to do. And they have been doing this since a very long time. So coming to RASOUSHADHIES, Swalpo hi matra vipula gunascha sadyo hi tad deepana pajanam cha. That is quick action, small dose, wider therapeutic indication, and palatability. These are some of the trademarks of a properly prepared RASOUSHADHIES, which can be included under categories like BHASMA, the incinerated products of metals and minerals, the Khalviya Rasayanas, wherein mercury along with other minerals and herbs are triturated in Khalvayantra, then Kupi Pakwa, where the drug is prepared in Kupi or glass bottle, then Parpadi, where we have the final product as flakes, Potali, where consolidated form of the drug is prepared, then Loha Kalpa and Mandura Kalpa, wherein the Loha and Mandura as the main ingredients along with other herbal drugs. And then we have finally the Pishti form, wherein use of Agni is not used. So when we look into the market scenario, we can see that 30 to 40% of the Ayurveda drugs are herbominerals. So we tons and tons of Arogyavardhini and Chandraprabha are been using till date, and there is no large scale toxicity associated or has been reported. So, but regardless of this fact, there is such a hype surrounding this word safety. That is definitely media plays a role. Also, the Western medicine, which is having a monopoly today, they fail to understand the intricacies of Rasa Shastra or Rasa medicines, and they stamp the name heavy metals to our preparations. So here are the trigger factors or which raise the safety concerns. That is the first and foremost, the public always in fear of RASOUSHADHIES. Then the media, which is time and again reporting heavy metal contamination in RASOUSHADHIES, and the regulatory agencies. So in the beginning itself, from the very beginning, RASOUSHADHIES or the Rasa is the villain. That is, here I have quoted two articles. There is one in media which says that metal poisoning causes renal failure, and sure enough, a particular drug was analyzed and they found heavy metals like arsenic, cadmium, copper, etc. And another article saying acute renal failure secondary to ingestion of Ayurveda medicines containing mercury. So the main thing we should realize is that all the Rasa drugs which contains mercury, arsenic, etc., their form is different from the heavy metals which we see in the environment. And also, you know, safety is a relative concept. Eliminating all risk is very impossible task. And we can reduce this situation, or we can manage the situation, that is in certain reasonable limit and parameters. Otherwise, we all know that even water is toxic in higher doses. So a medication can be safe for most people under most circumstances if taken in a certain amount. That is, in case of RASOUSHADHIES, we can say that RASOUSHADHIES are safe when appropriately prepared and appropriately prescribed. So the important question is, I would like to highlight in my presentation, that whether our ancient acharyas who developed this, or the yogis who developed this science of Rasa Shastra, designed it keeping in mind all these safety concerns, whether they have given thought to this or not. So if yes, at what all aspects the concern was, or the issues was addressed. So in the coming slides, we will see in detail, or in what all aspects our ancient people were vigilant to make the RASOUSHADHIES safe. When we look into the origin of Rasa Shastra, as quoted in Rasa Hridaya Tantra, Idi Ghana Sharira Bhokhat, Matva Anityat Sadaiva Yathaniyam, Muktau Sacha Jnanad Tacha Abhyasad Sacha Sthire Dehe. So this was the objective with which this science was developed. That is Matva Sharira Bhokhat. That is, do not go for worldly pleasures. Why? Because it is anatya. Sadaiva yadhaniyat mukto. So we should always strive for mukti. So mukti, it should not be wrongly interpreted here. Mukti here means jivan mukti, or a condition in which in life we are having, we should say, a state of perfect well-being. That is known as jivan mukti. That is mukti in life. And to achieve mukti, that can be done only through jnana and abhyasa. And for acquiring jnana and abhyasa, sthira deha is needed. So this was the main objective of Rasa Shastra. And this is the Rasa That is ego hi rasa raja, sharira ajara amaram kurude. So here the Acharya emphasize the importance of mercury in Rasa Shastra.
Hello, madam. Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam, slides are not visible. Huh.
Ma'am.
Madam, make it a slide view, madam.
Okay. Is it visible now, ma'am?
Ha, madam.
Okay. Sorry for the interruption. Let me continue.
Okay, madam.
So use the toxic and unstable mercury in the most useful and controlled manner. That was by addition of sulfur, and this knowledge was only known to the ancient Rasashastra people. And so says the quotation, Divya Tanu Vidheya Haragauri Srishti Samyogat. So when Ayurveda speaks about Hitha and Sukhayu, Rasashastra is further advanced, speaking about Sthira Deha and Divya Tanu, that is divine body, which comes under the offshoot of Rasayana Chikitsa. So the point here is that such a science of divinity or divine origin with its basis on darshana can never be wrong, and the drugs mentioned never toxic if properly utilized. So here is a glance at various safety aspects or various steps in which safety issues were addressed in the ancient textbooks. So the selection of material, procurement, their properties, the process and preparation, that is development of SOP and SMPs, then dose, sahapana, anupana, etc. The patya, management of untowards effect, and kshetrikarana. So these are some of the points wherein safety issues were addressed by our ancient acharyas, and we'll be looking into these points one by one. Coming to the selection of materials. Quality of medicine depends on the quality of raw drugs. So this was well known to the ancient people that they emphasized the importance of selecting best drug for pharmaceutical process. A lot of examples can be cited from various textbooks. In Dasaratna Samuchaya, in the beginning of second chapter, we have the sloka of Maharasa saying Abravaikranta Makshiga, Vimala Adrija Sasyakam, Chapalu Rasagascheti, Nyatva Ashtau Sangrahedrasan, wherein the Acharya has emphasized that these 8 drugs, that is, they should be collected, Sangraha should be done only after proper knowledge or proper authentication. That is Nyatva Ashtau, only after proper jnana of these drugs, they should be collected for further processing. Similarly, we have characters for all the materials which are used in various processing. A few examples I have quoted here, like Bharata, that is Andasu Nilo Bahirujjalova Madhyana Surya Pratima Prakasha. That is how Bharata is described. The Grahya Lakshana of Bharata is described. So not forgetting the bluish tinge of spectra emitted by mercury lamps, that Andasu Nilo. Then coming to Abraga, the good quality of Abraga, Acharya says, Snigdham Pridutalam Varna Samyuktam Bharato Adhikam, Sughanirmoja Patra. So even today we know the biotites or the Krishna Vajra Abraga, which are known in the name of books, because of that Pridudhala and different Patra, which is already mentioned by our Acharya. Similarly, we have properties or Lakshana for Shilajadu, like Jatwabam, Mridu Mritsnam, Acham, Yenmalam Shilajadu, or Guggulu Abo. Then we have Panduram Sikathakaram, for Karpura Shilajadu. Even test, not only by visualization, by various tests also we can identify the good quality drugs like Vahining Shiped, Baved, Lingagharam, Adupakam, which has come in the context of Shilajadu. Now, procurement of metals, we know that in modern parameters, there are different characters which identify a metal like color, streak, fracture, specific gravity, melting point, hardness, etc. So if we look into the various shlokas or various collections mentioned by our acharyas, all these characters are mentioned there. For example, if we take gold, dahe raktam, sidam chede nikashe kunguma prabham, hemam shodashavarnatyam, shodashavarna of gold, shankabam rachatam, that is the white color or shiny white color of silver, shamalangam chavajiram, that is the variety of iron, which is shamala varna. Then kala yasa, Neela Krishna prabha. Then Hrinnala variety, Krishna Panduvabu. So all the colors, various colors to identify or differentiate the various metals are described. Again in copper, Shugatundaba, that is the red color of copper. Dhavalam Kuravangam, 14, that is white color. Then Bahi Krishnam, Pidhaba, yellowish for brass. Ishat Shamala Shubhragha for bronze. So the colors are written similarly. Speaking of characters like streak, in case of Sarna, we have Nikashi Kungrava, that is the streak line of gold. Again, in case of Sarna Makshika, we have Kashe Kanagavat. So that in case of streak of Swarna Makshika. Now coming to Leicester, we have Bhasram, Kaya, Juram, shiny for lead, Sisa. Then other characters like fracture. In case of Hema, we have Sidam Chede. Again, Rajata. Again, when cut surface is white in color. And Kataraga. That is cut surface is black. Then Chedane Dharadobamam. Cut surface like Hingla, reddish in color in case of Tamra. Coming to the melting point, we know the quotations of Vanga, Naga, etc. wherein Drudha is mentioned as a quality. So we can see that the knowledge of mineralogical identification was very much known in the ancient time, and they have given due importance to the raw material for preparation of medicine. So thus successfully addressing the safety issue then and there itself, that is in the first step, that is the authentication of product, which leads to quality and safety. Now coming to the procurement of raw drugs. So they also had a good idea from where to procure the drug so that it is of the finer quality. In the context of Loha, Acharya says, Kshetram Nyatva Grihitavyam, Tat Prayatnena Dhimada, Marudhadaba Vikshiptam, Tad Varjayet Na Atra Samshaya. That is, one should know the source of collection of drug. Then coming to Abraga, Rajahastad Adastad, Samaninam Ghanam Khane. The mining of Abraga should be done in around 120 Ankula depth. We know that a good quality of Abraga can be procured only if we mine at a certain particular depth. Similarly, for Vaikranta, Acharya says, Vindyasya Dakshine Bhage, Uttareva. That is, in that particular region, Vaikranta is available. Even for Vaikranta, Vajrakarastu Tejada, that is nearer or in the mines of Vajra, that is diamond, Vaikranta can be obtained. Now coming to Makshiga, we have references that Makshiga Kanyagubjotam, that Kanyagubja, that is in present UP, Makshiga can be procured. Even though we know at present in Kanyagubja in UP, there are no such sources or mines of chalcopyrites, but maybe when the text was written in ancient times, mines of such Makshiga or chalcopyrite may be present in those regions. Similarly, Raupya, Himalaya Adrikudeshu, that is in the Himalaya region. That is, if we know the source of good quality drug, there is less chance of adulteration. And thus safety and quality can be assured, even though many of the places mentioned in our ancients text we cannot relate in modern times. The gist of this slokas is that whenever we are preparing medicine, if we know the best source from which drug can be procured, we can assure the safety of drug. Now coming to the properties. So if a particular drug was toxic in nature, they never kept away from mentioning those toxicity. Like we have seen in the context of mercury, when Acharya says, dosha hino yadha sudo, tadha mrityu jarapaha, shuddho ayam amrda sakshat, dosha yukto raso visham. In the context of abraga, other than the grahya variety, that is Krishna Vajra abraga, all other varieties, Pinaga, Naga, Manduga, when used in medicine, caused conditions like constipation, calculi, skin diseases, and even death, which was mentioned in our classics. And coming to Tamara, we all know the quotation, Na Visham Vishamityahu, Tamram tu Vishamuchade, Ego dosho Vishe Tamre, Ashto dosho Prakirtitaha. So similarly, all the toxic symptoms of the road drugs were also documented in our ancient classics. So since the people were aware about the toxicity of these particular drugs, elaborated processing methods were also described by them, keeping the safety and quality of the drug in mind. So coming to the various process, first we have Shodhana, which brings about physical, chemical, and biological changes in the drug as we know today. In the various Shodhana method mentioned in the classics, very clear-cut approach has been made in the terms of equipment and herbal drugs used with an idea to purify as well as to potentiate the drug. The whole Shodhana process is difficult to elaborate. However, summarizing the role of various herbal drugs used in Shodhana, we have the quotation, Sarve Malahara Kshara, Amlam Sarve Prabodhaga, Vishani cha Tamoknani, Sneham Mardhavakaraga. So that is all the categories, all the different drugs like Kshara, Amla, the Gomutra, then Triflakwada, any drug if we analyze, they may majority of or the major classification is like Kshara Dravya, Amla Dravya, Visha Dravya, and Sneha Dravya. So what does each drug do? Like Kshara Dravya removes the impurities. Amla Dravya is Prabodhakaraka. Visha Dravya removes the inertia. And Sneha Dravya provides Mardhava. So today with the advancement of modern technique, we are able to identify the specific role of each drug used in Shodhana procedure. Like we can see in the two articles which I have put here, in a published literature wherein one says a study on the effect of garlic to heavy metal poisoning. That is, this says that the presence of selenium in garlic antagonized the heavy metal toxicity, that mercury toxicity, cadmium, arsenic, etc. And the presence of sulfur compounds forms chelation with metals, which justifies the quotation, Ego egena lashnenabi shuddho bhavati paradaha. So for purification of mercury, we have garlic. Egena lashnenabi. Even lashna alone can be used for purification of garlic. So this study justifies that. Again, we can see in another article, that is comparative study on the efficacy of allium sativum in reducing some heavy metal accumulation. The study says that garlic offers hepatoprotection to heavy metals based on their ability to reduce various parameters like serum creatinine, urea, nitrogen, etc. and also reduce oxidative stress in the body. So this was just evidence-based study which shows the property of Shodhana, various Shodhana Dravyas. Similarly, in the case of Valsanapa, TLC studies have shown that the toxic components like aconitine is converted into less toxic substances like benzoyl aconine, respectively, when traditional Shodhana methods are used. So the method also revealed that the chemical purification, that is, if we are not adopting the traditional methods, there is no chance of converting this toxic alkaloids to less toxic alkaloids. So the next step, or one of the important or indispensable part, is the Marana. Shodhita loha dhatvadi vimardhya swarasadibi agni samyogado basmigharana maranam smritam. So says the quotation. So a unique procedure to convert the metals and minerals to assimilable form. by Bhavana and Puttapaga. So this Bhavana and Puttapaga are the two indispensable steps of Marana, which help in converting the drug into an assimilable form. If we speak about Bhavana, यच्चूर्णितस्य धात्वादे द्रवे संपेश शोषण भावनम तन्मदम विज्ञे भावनासा निखत्यते. We know that is the process make conversion of non-toxic metallic compounds into inorganic or organometallic form due to addition of the various herbal juices or liquids, and make the drug finer by making their Sankhata Bedana, also change in the chemical bond and enhancing the property of drug. So Bhavana in short we can say helps in particle size reduction, detoxification, potentiation, then addition of phytoconstituents and trace minerals, as well as bioavailability enhancement of the drug. So all these properties of Bhavana or wet grinding or levication is incorporated in just one sloka by our acharyas, that is Mardhanam Gunavardhanam. Now this is another paper. In this paper, the bioavailability enhancement of partially water-soluble medicaments, the authors has pinned a new term known as tribochemistry to explain the concept of Bhavana. So they say tribochemistry as a chemical reactions that occur between the lubricant and the surface under boundary lubricating conditions. So this further says that reaction of solid components by liquid assisted grinding, that is our Bhavana, is an important method responsible for the conversion of inert precursors such as metal oxides into hybrid inorganic and organic materials. Thus, with the help of suitable particle size reduction technology and the synergist action between the liquid and the drugs, bioavailability of even poor water soluble medicaments can be enhanced. Also, it is reported that actual energy for while doing Mardana or Bhavana to produce a new surface area is very small fraction, that is less than 1%, and all the extra energy is lost in the form of heat energy. So when we are adding liquids, this heat energy can be prevented and thereby the facilitation of chemical reactions can be enhanced by Bhavana procedure. Coming to Puttapaga, the substance is closed in a Sharava Samputa or crucible and heating is provided at different temperature. The process is repeated many times as prescribed for each preparation. Thus we have Dashaputa, Shataputa and Sahasraputa. So in Puttapaga, it involves mechanical and chemical changes even at atomic and molecular scale that include mechanical breakage, chemical behavior of mechanically stressed solids. So a lot of changes happens in Puttapaga, which is beyond detection limit of our modern instrumentation techniques. So the changes during Marana can be summarized as follows, like Shodhana, which causes disruption in the compression tension equilibrium, which further goes on to increase the brittleness of the substance, and it also decreases the hardness and causes reduction in particle size. Bhavana is mainly for size reduction and addition of trace elements. Marana is for when all these processes is included, Marana finally leads to the conversion of metal into a compound form biologically favored to the body. So all these can be further summarized in the quotation, Mridhani Lohani Rasi Bhavanti. That is when a proper Marana or Mridhaloha, it becomes Rasi Bhavanti. That is, it can be easily absorbed or assimilated into the system. So that is what Acharya says about the quality of a Mridhaloha. Mridhani Lohani Rasi Bhavanti Nignandi Yuktani Mahamayanscha Abhyasa Yoga Drideha Siddhi Kurvandi Rupjanma Jaravinasha. So this paper, this cutout I have just kept to show the changes during Marana, which has been validated. So in one article titled Elucidation of Core Shell Structure of Loha Bhasma, the authors present a core shell structure for Loha Bhasma. So where the structure may represent a shell containing organic moieties, while Fe2O3 is present in the core. That is, in the core, Fe2O3 surrounded by the organic complex. That was the structure presented by this in this using modern studies. Similarly, in another article, the particle size estimation was done, which revealed that the particle size goes on decreasing as we increases the number of puta from macro size to the nano size. So ancient people, they didn't stop there. Like putting, we see, have seen guardrails to ensure safety. One more step was added to double check the final product to ensure utmost safety, and that is known as Amritikarana. The process all of you know, Lohadina Amritana, Shishta Dosha Banuttaye, Kriyate Yestu Sanskara, Amritikaranam, Mritam. The process in which the remaining or persisting doshas can be eliminated. This help not only in removing doshas, but also make the metallic medicine as a nectar. So as we can see in the Basmikarana process of lohas, a lot of puta procedures or lot of cycles are utilized, wherein because of the excess agni, there is a chance that the final product will be more ruksha. So by Amartikarana, that ruksha dosha can be eliminated. By, we can see in Amartikarana, most of the time sneha dravyas are used. So this was a double check to ensure the safety of the final product. Now, once the drug is prepared, Acharya suggests completion test. First and the foremost, in case of individual basma, is the color itself, like Swarna Champaka Varna, Tamara Krishna Varna, Kamsya Dusara, Naga Paravata, Vanga Shubra, then all the calcium compounds, Shweta Varna, etc. So, color of the final basma, we all know, depend upon the final chemical composition of basma. Other tests, that is the major ones, for individual basmas, Rekha Purnatva, Varitaratva, Una or Uttama, Apunarbhava, Nirutta, and some other tests like Avami, Amla Pariksha, Nirdhumatva, etc. So this Varitaratva, Rekha Purnatva, etc. checks the fineness and lightness of our material. When we say Rekha Purnatva, that is, the basma should enter into the furrows of the fingers. Also, coming to the size of basma, we have other term known as Ketagi Rajasa. That is like the powder or the pollens of Ketagi flower. So, even though the pollen or the furrows in our fingers, all are in very micro ranges. So, which ensures that our basma is of very fine particle size. Again, come Varitaratva. Then we have double checking Varitaratva, we have the Una Pariksha, then Apunarbhava, Nirutta, etc. Not only for individual basmas, even for the finished other products like Makaradvaja, completion tests are mentioned in the classical text. Like in case of Makaradvaja, the Acharya says, Sahakara Rasa Prabham Bange, that is, if it is cut, it is like Sahakara Rasa, that is Sahakara means Amra Rasa, that is yellowish orange color, juice of mango. Rakta Pradikasham, Pishte, that is if we powder it, it will be red in color. So that shows the far-sightedness of our ancient people to ensure the safety of our drug. So how could a basma passing all these tests still remain a heavy metal? So that is the question. The final product, the basma which is obtained, is used either alone or in various herbomineral preparation, for example, Arogyavardhani Vati, Chandraprabharasa, etc. So once these all tests are passed, the basmas are further used for preparing the herbal drugs. So there also, in preparation of formulations, Acharyas adopt various principles which are explained in classics, in especially in Charaga Kalpasthana and all. We can get the sloka like Alpasya Mahadartam Prabhutasya Alpakarmada. That is how a formulation should be formulated by looking into the various things like combination, elimination, processing and yukti, and by all these drug is formulated. Now the next factor is dose and anupana. In the classics, if we check dose of all the basmas and the formulations, rasaushadhis are clear-cut mentioned. Even there are age-specific dose, especially we can see in instances of parpadi, rasasindura and all, where there is age-specific dosage, that is for children, then for adult dosage, etc. Like that, dose specification is given. And another thing, duration of administration. Like Arogyavardhini Rasa Mandala Kala, that is 41 days administration mentioned. In some Rasaushadhis, Varsha Pariyandam, 1 year administration is mentioned. Dose also is mentioned in Kalpa Prayoga, like increasing dose forms. In the case of Parpati, Loha Kalpa, Gantaka Kalpa, etc., we can see such Kalpa Prayoga. Then in some instances, specific mode of administration. That is in case of Rasakarpura and all, it should be binded with other herbal drugs and administered so that it does not touch the oral surface because it is toxic. And in case of Potali, where Acharya has mentioned to rub it, give to the patient. And coming to Anupana, we all know Anupana enhances the bioavailability of drugs. Various Anupanas has been mentioned while administration of single basma as well as the formulations like Madhu, Grita, etc. They help in targeted action. So if we take the case of Rasasindura, we know Rasasindura is a simple drug containing mercury and sulfur. But if we look into the Falashruti, the indications, we can see more than 40 diseases are indicated. That highlight the role of, that is possible only with the role of Anupana. Now, coming to Patya, that is various dietary regimens are mentioned while administering or while intake of Rasaushadhis. So they may interact with the drug, sometimes resulting in proper assimilation and excretion of drugs. Sometimes they can cause accumulation of the drug and causes toxicity. That is why the Patya and Apatya dravyas, food articles, has been mentioned. In the Rasashastra classics, we can see Vrindagasya, Phalam Shastam Patolam Brihati Phalam, which are the Patya drugs. Like Apatya, we have the famous Kakarashtaga drugs. Then Vidhala. So all these Kakarashtaga, etc., when taken along with especially the mercurial preparation, they, instead of assimilation, they cause a speedy excretion. So the action of drugs will not occur inside the body. So hence we should avoid such Kakarashtaga and other Apatya dravyas. Now coming to the untoward effects and treatment. Even after checking all these or double checking all these aspects, Acharya says that there may be chances, and it may vary to person. So there may be chances that untoward effects or adverse reactions may show up in some persons. And in that condition, what we have to do? So a few examples are given. In case of improper metabolism of Loha, general we can say the iron, or generally the Loha Varga, in Loha Jirna, Acharya says, Krimiripu Churnam Leadam, Sahitam Swarasena, Vangasenasya. That is Vidanga Churna along with Agastya Patra Swarasa for Loha Jirna. Then Aragvadasya Majjani, Rejanam Kitta Shandaye. So if there is case of Kitta Disara, in case which is a complication of improper metabolism of Loha, Acharya asks us to take Aragvada Majja and along with Dugdhanupana. Again, in the context of Loha, there is a quotation in the Sendra Chintamani saying, Kanda Kramagam Egam, Nishesham Dosham Abaharati Ayasaha. So to remove the dosha of Ayasa, remove the dosha of Loha, the one only drug is Kanda Kramaga. Kanda Kramaga is the synonym of Musta. Kanda Kramaga, the terms denote Kramaga, that is which help in easy, that is which help in the proper ADME of the drug. Kanda Kramaga, that is Kanda means Loha, iron here. So that which help in proper metabolism of Loha. So even Musta has a synonym, Kanda Kramaga. So how far Musta is capable of doing is beyond this paper. We need a lot more of researches in that aspect. Also, once Rasaushadhi is properly metabolized, then we have the lakshana of proper metabolism like kale malapravarti, Laghavam udhare vishuddhi udghare angeshu na avasado manaprasado asya paripake. Similarly, we have instances of rasajirna where Acharya mentioned the use of ghavya dugdha and gandhaga for warding off untoward effects. So similarly, untoward effects of all metals and mineral drugs and their treatments are mentioned, scattered in the literature, and a few I have compiled here. Like Abraga Basma, we have Uma Phala rubbed with water for 3 days. Makshika Basma, we have Kulattakwada and Dadimatwak. Vimala Basma, we have Meshashringi Churna and Sitha. Shilajadu, Marija Churna and Krita. Sasyaga, Jambira Sarasa. Rasaga, Gomutrapana. Then Gandhaga, milk and gogrita. Then haritala, we have Pushmanda Swarasa, Sharkara Madhu Jiraka, Ajaji Sharkara, Yavaksharam and Kushmanda Swarasa. For Manashila, we have Godugda and Madhu. In case of Swarna Basma, we have Haritaki Churna and Madhu for 3 days. Naga Basma, that is Swarna and Haritaki Churna along with Sita for 3 days. For Vanga Basma, Meshashringi Churna with Sita. Yashata Basma, we have Haritaki Churna and Sita. Now, another important concept in this aspect is Kshetrikarana. So, till now, all the procedures were focused to improve the quality of blood. But the ancient people knew that even if it is good, we know it is not when the soil is bad. So, one more step further, that is to improve or to maintain the quality of soil, that is body. The concept of Kshetrikarana was introduced. The Kshetrikarana concept, it is a preparatory procedure to make the body suitable for use of intake of RASOUSHADHIES in the form of Rasayana. So in Kshetrikarana, we have 5 steps, that is Pajanam, Snehanam, Svedo, Vamanam, Rejanam, Tada, Edhapagani, Nadabhani, Vishapare. So Pajana, Snehana, Sveda, Vamana and Virega. Excuse me, am I audible? I think there was an interruption in the internet.
Ha, madam.
Audible, na?
Continue, madam. Now it is audible. Hello. Now it is audible, madam. You can continue.
Okay, ma'am. I'll continue. So that was what Kshetrikarana is. That is preparatory or preparing body for receiving the Rasayana yogas. And along with that preparation, 40 formulations are mentioned in various texts for as Kshetrikarana yogas. So after this 5 purification, these formulations are to be administered. Then only we can take the Rasa yogas when it is mentioned for Rasayana purpose. So as quotation says, Kartavyam Kshetrikaranam Sarvansmincha Rasayana na Kshetrikarana Devi Kinchit Kuryat Rasayanam. Again, Acharya says, Akrita Kshetrikarane Rasayanam Yanaro Prayunchita Tasya Kramadina Rasa Sarasa Sarvanga Doshakrit Bhavadi. So Acharya clearly says that if Kshetrikarana is skipped, then proper assimilation or proper kramana of drug does not happen in the body, which in turn leads to accumulation of those particular compounds in the body, which can lead to dosha. So here are some efficacy studies which prove both the safety and efficacy of RASOUSHADHIES. These are all validated studies available. So I have just collected a few of them, like Chandraprabha.
Hello, excuse me. Madam, slides are not visible.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, when you go out of the network, please, while joining, share it your PPT. Every time it will go out, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, is it visible now? Actually, I am unable to share screen. They are telling that you are participant.
Yes, ma'am. 1 minute.
Uh,
Now
please
it's
wait, ma'am. Visible?
yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So, sorry. So there are good number of studies that have proven significance of RASOUSHADHIES in managing various disorders wherein satisfactory treatment is not available in conventional system. So here are few studies which has been collected from various sources like Chandraprabha in diabetes, Garbachintamani Rasa in lipid disorders, Arogyavardhini in hepatic ailments, Rasasindura as Rasayana and metabolic deficit reversal agent, Magaradhvaja in rheumatoid arthritis, an anti-stress agent, Rajata Basma as a hypnotic and analgesic agent, Samira Pannagarasa in bronchial asthma, Yashata Basma in diabetes. So also formulations like Shasta Kutara Rasa, Swarnamakshiga Basma, Smriti Sagara Rasa, Hridayarana Rasa, etc. has been reported to be free from genotoxic potential. And Rasasindura has been found to be safe, even in a study conducted in Bhabha Atomic Research Center, where they found out that Rasasindura is the alpha form of HGS, which is free from toxicity. So all these studies proves leads or emphasize the safety and efficacy and usefulness of herbominerals. So here again, it is a collection of various studies conducted and the result like Swarna Basma. The activity study was protein absorption blood compatibility study, and the result says that the particles were non-cytotoxic. Similarly, Loha Basma, Yashata Basma, Magaradhvaja, Vasanta Kusamagara Rasa, then Shilajadu, Rasamanika, and n number of formulations are available wherein the safety and efficacy has been validated. So now coming to the conclusions, we have already seen that necessity and effect of metals on human health was recognized as early as 7th century, and a comprehensive information in this regard is available in classical texts. The manufacture of non-toxic drugs of metals like gold, silver, copper, etc. was improved with increasing understanding of the safety and efficacy issues by the ancient acharyas. And basmas prepared according to classical methods never contain metal in the free form, and hence whenever there is a question of toxicity, it is only due to the problems in conditions of both the preparation and prescription. And the ancient Indians have well cautioned against improper processing of heavy metals and have warned that these may harm the vital organs or even pave way to death. So if Ayurveda drugs truly dangerous, as many of the articles claims, then 50% of people who use Ayurveda medicine in India were to succumb to life-threatening illness or disease or death by now. So merely testing heavy metal level and stamping that our RASOUSHADHIES are toxic is inconclusive. So strict adherence to Ayurvedic practice and avoidance of
Thank you, madam. Thank you for the wonderful session. Hello. Hello.
to be
Hello, madam. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, madam. Hello.
I'm audible.
Madam.
I think the last part was not
Some
audible.
disturbance is there,
Sorry.
madam. Hello. You can continue, madam.
Yes.
Hello.
So I just concluded, ma'am. Hello.
Madam.
Ma'am, I just concluded my slide.
Okay, madam.
Concluded, ma'am.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Thank you and all for your patience.
Thank you very much, madam, for the wonderful session. Here we have some questions regarding the topic.
Yes, ma'am. Sure. Okay, ma'am. I'll try my best to respond.
Okay, madam. We heard the new term tribochemistry in the concept of bhavana. Can you explain it once
yes,
again, madam?
Okay, ma'am. Let me move to that slide. Yes, here in the concept of bhavana. So this was an article authored by Anand Chaudhary from BHU. The title Bioavailability Enhancement of Partially Water Soluble Solid Medicaments in Traditional System of Medicine. So herein they have introduced a new term known as tribochemistry. So tribochemistry is a branch which explains the chemical reaction occurring between lubricant and the surface. So this particular concept, they have adopted it to our bhavana, because in our bhavana also the surface of our drug as well as the lubricant, that is the wet liquid, that's where RAS or SAKHTHA is added. So there is a reaction between the lubricant and the surface. So they say that by this the reaction of the lubricant and the surface, that is the tribochemistry, they say that when this reaction happens by this liquid assisted grinding, that is by bhavana, the solid state components convert into inorganic or organic materials, as well as there happens a reduction in particle size. So this is a proven concept of tribochemistry. Is it clear, ma'am?
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
One more question is there, madam. Regarding procurement of raw drugs, rasadravyas,
yes.
Some specific places, authentic quality or genuine quality of raw drugs are available in the specific places. But nowadays, in market, how far they are genuine, we cannot judge, madam. What to do?
Yes, ma'am. But I also agreed, ma'am, because this is one issue that we cannot address. So I think the only thing is that it is not, we cannot go and find out the source as our ancient acharyas has described. Also the sources mentioned at that time, that also is not available there. So that is obviously a point which we should consider, that nowadays only market samples are available. Also nowadays, not only even market samples are also prepared in the lab, not mined. For example, in the case of Harithala, mercury also, that not original sources, not from mines we are preparing. So there is a issue regarding that. But though since the raw material is available as such and we can't do anything in that issue, the further steps we should be cautious, I think, because in this regard, availability of drugs, it is not possible. If it was herbs, then like cultivation methods and all, we can do something. But in this case, it is impossible for us. So we have to rely on the market samples only. But we should other steps like Shodhana, Marana, etc., we should adhere to our principles. Only to the present.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, ma'am.
Most of the rasadravyas, they are chemically prepared in the laboratories nowadays. How far they can have the efficacy and properties main aushadhiya gunas.
That's what I mentioned previously, ma'am. Today we can rely only on those drugs, but like we say, nothing, something is better than nothing. So we cannot procure from mines, but with whatever available today, we go for the procedures like Shodhana and Marana. And of course, even though we cannot outrightly say that they are not effective or they are toxic, because recent studies conducted all over in the research institutions and the educational institutions, and we are giving to patients now the drugs available from such sources only, etc. We can't rightly less active or toxic. They are doing their work. Anything else, madam?
Thank you, madam.
Okay, ma'am. Fine.
Dr. Kapila, madam, you want to ask the question?
No, madam. Sorry. Okay.
Thank you, madam. Further questions are there?
Okay, ma'am.
Dose of RASOUSHADHIES to kids below 10 years.
So generally, ma'am, in the case of this dose, age-dependent dose is mentioned in the case of RASASH for a proper matra, they have mentioned 1 rati, and for children it is described as 1 rati. So taking that as a base, we can give 1/4 or 1/8 to the children, I think. By that we can taking this as a base, we can consider that.
Thank you, madam. Can you explain Kakirdani in Apatya?
Kakarashtaga, ma'am. Kakarashtaga. Sorry, ma'am, I couldn't grasp the question. Which drug you were mentioning?
Explain Kakirdani in Apatya.
Kakiradhani, Kakarashtaga, maybe it will be.
Might be, madam.
Kakarashtaga. Actually, ma'am, much studies or studies has not been done in this area of Kakarashtaga. But only classical data we have. So when we look into the classical data, we can see that as an apatya, Kakarashtaga dravyas are mentioned. And while mentioning the treatment of the rasajirna, that is toxicity, if you want to remove the toxicity, as a treatment for toxicity also, Kakarashtaga has been mentioned. So here one group of drug is mentioned as apatya, that is should not be used while drug is administered, and if toxicity appear, that drug again is used as a treatment. From this particular concept, we can come to the conclusion that these drugs, all these Kakarashtaga drugs, the herbs, the various fruits, mainly the Cucurbitaceae family mentioned in this category, are mainly having the property of phytochelation. That is, they may be forming complexes with the metals and help them in eliminating from the body instead of accumulation. So when they are used while the drug is administered, instead of drug action, the drug may comes along or excrete along with the Kakarashtaga dravya. But in case of toxic symptoms due to accumulation, the same Kakarashtaga gana help in their excretion. So these Kakarashtaga process forming biocomplexes or complex ligands with the metals and minerals and help them in the excretion. So that may be the main behind them. Otherwise, still studies has not been done in this regard, ma'am, in my knowledge.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, ma'am.
One more question. Will 2 to 3 RASOUSHADHIES combination create toxicity in practice?
Yes, generally in practice we are giving combinations. So for a definite solid studies has not been done, because whenever we are going for clinical trials and all, single drugs are taken due to our clinical format, that particular design. We cannot add 2 and that we don't have. But as per the clinical experience, as per many clinicians who are prescribing RASOUSHADHIES for a long time, we can see that 2 and 3, depending upon the patient condition, it is not causing toxicity.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. In adverse effects, some medicines
ma'am.
have been prescribed for Haratala like this,
Yes, ma'am.
or for almost all the Rasadravyas. When there is more number of Rasadravyas like that in Arogyavardhini Vati, more number of Rasadravyas are there. In such condition, how we should analyze from which drug the complication has been occurred?
So, ma'am, in RASOUSHADHIES as a whole, in herbominerals, arising from the symptoms, I think we can make a idea about what may be the probable drug. That is, if in every formulation there will be a notorious drug which can cause toxicity. All may be not in the same level. Like Arogyavardhini, of course, it is safe, one of the safest drug. We can see that in Arogyavardhini, Rasagandhaga, Loha, Abram, Shulbha, Basmam, Samamshagam. So, if there is a case of toxicity, we know Abraga, Loha, considering Abraga, Loha, Tamra, etc. Maybe the Tamra may be the culprit where Tamra is not properly prepared. So like that, I think we can have an idea. Or if in some drugs where there is this schedule E1 drugs, so there we can know that the probable toxicity may have arisen due to this particular drug only. So like that we can address, or otherwise depending upon the general signs and symptoms of the toxicity shown by the patient, we can administer drugs. And one more thing is that from herbomineral group of drugs, a rise of toxicity symptoms is very rare because they are bioengineered or formulated in such a way that along with the, like especially I'm continuing about Arogyavardhini Rasa, we have Rasa, Gandhaga, Loha, Abra, Tamra, Basma, all these and line of metals and minerals. But the drug is protective. Why? Because 50% of the drug contain Tikta Sarva Samatnyaya. So thereby there is a balance is made while formulating a particular drug. So from such drugs, unless and until higher dose is given to the patient, so there is no chance for toxicity because there inside the formulation itself, neutralizing drugs has been added by the acharyas. So there is less chance for formulations as such.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for the wonderful session. We are grateful for the time and effort you took to share your knowledge and explain with us, experiences with us. Thank you, madam. On behalf of our college, our department, and from our principal, sir, Dr. K.C. Das, and also from institute management members for the today's session, madam. We are very thankful on behalf of all our members. Thank you, madam. And I also thank all other faculty members, PG scholars, UG students of different colleges, and also the students of our college. Thank you one and all. Thank you, madam.
Sorry for the interruption due to this unstable network. I apologize in this regard. Thank you.
Madam, shall we close the session with your permission?
Fine, ma'am.
Thank you.